Hello. Hi, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to our week number 6 live stream for my intro psych class. See a bunch of you joining me, getting your names in the chat, which is fantastic. But good morning. We are in week number 6, which is just hard to believe that we are getting that close to the end of the semester. And next week is Thanksgiving, which is super exciting. I don't know if all of you are looking forward to it as much as I am, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I might change up our timing for our live stream next week just because the classes and such are a little complicated. I might do like a recording or something like that, given that we have Thursday and Friday off, and I'm taking the first part of the week off because my children have it off. So just kind of stay tuned for that. But otherwise, let's worry about today first. We are, as I said, in week number 6, and we'll take a look at what we have going on this week and also last week. So weeks number 5 and 6 are all due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So hopefully you've already gotten going on those materials and are feeling pretty good about it. So let's take a look at what we have due for this week. Remember, really quickly, I'll go back. Last week we had motivation and emotions. So hopefully you read chapter 9 and 10 in the ebook and then went through the lectures and the lecture videos. We also had discussions number 9 and 10 for last week, along with self-assessment number 2, where you're reflecting on your progress at the halfway point of the semester for our class. And then you obviously had the extra credit number 5, which you can still do for those 2 points of extra credit. Remember, everything from weeks 5 and 6 is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So this week for week 6, since we are in week 6, we'll focus on these materials. We are looking at human development and personality. And again, we are really in like the core topics of intro psych, right? Looking at motivation, emotion, human development, and personality. Those are definitely the core. So make sure that you read chapter 11 and 12 in the ebook and then go through the lectures for 11 and 12 and the lecture videos. Remember, as always, that these lectures that I created for you do have that 5-tab format. So first you're looking at the objectives and summary, which you can listen to or watch. Read, I mean. And then the Beyond the Book page, I have a little video, 100 Years by Five for Fighting, kind of going through some of the developmental stages to a pop culture song. A little bit about pregnancy, preparing for childbirth, gender identity, aging, and then Alzheimer's, and a quick video a little bit about that. In pop culture, lots of songs and movies and books highlighting the teenage years, also childhood, pregnancy, and facing the end of life. A great little video here about dealing with the 5 stages of coping with death. I always feel like such an awful person with this video because his depression stage makes me laugh, but his crying is slightly funny, which is awful. I feel bad for it a little bit, but that might be kind of a helpful video. You have the key terms in review, all of the terms that you need to know from this chapter for the exam. And then finally, application, what to expect during and after pregnancy, a little bit about playing with children, and then keeping your mind sharp and improving mental fitness. So make sure you click on all the links, watch all the videos that I've put in there for you. All of that together is going to really help you to understand the materials. Then you'll want to do the same thing for personality, right? Make sure that you, again, go through and read the objectives and summary. Beyond the Book. I have a video here, probably my most popular video that I've ever made. Like 26,000 people have watched this video, which is kind of wild to think. But kind of a quick overview of the 8 major approaches. There's some information here about defense mechanisms, and then Erickson and personality assessment. In pop culture, a couple of movies related to personality. Not as many as the last unit, but still. Here are the key terms you need to know from chapter 12. And then finally on the application page, there's a bunch of personality tests. These will come back in the discussion, so they might be helpful and kind of fun to take a look at. So go through and do the lectures for chapter 11 and chapter 12. And then also make sure, oops, sorry, it's skipping around here, that you watch the lecture videos and take notes. That is in substitution of me lecturing to you in person. You also have two discussions this week, as usual. Discussion 11 has to do with human development. So as always, watch my little video, read through everything first, make sure you answer all of my questions in detail, be kind of elaborate in your responses. Think about them more like mini papers, if that helps you. But this one, what you're doing, a couple of items. So you are listening to two songs about being a teenager, and the links to those are right here. You're also going to go to a store that sells birthday cards, Hallmark, Target, Walmart, the grocery store, CVS, Rite Aid, any of those kind of places. If you don't feel comfortable going out, you are welcome to do a Google search for these. So I think it's a little more fun to go out and do it if you feel comfortable. You're going to listen to the songs, and then you're going to look at greeting cards that target the age of 30, 40, and 50, and 60, 70, 80, or aging in general. After you've done those two items, you'll talk about the songs and how they incorporate and demonstrate the cognitive, social, and physical milestones of being a teenager. I'm really looking for you to be specific. Give me specific lyrics from the songs and how they connect to specific topics in chapter 11. So I'm looking for you to really give me some detail there about how concrete elements of the songs connect to concrete elements in chapter 11. What are the general messages, tone, and focus of the cards that you looked at? What are some of the attitudes and stereotypes related to aging, getting older? A lot of stereotypes about aging and getting older. And then for fun, if you personally had to be stuck at one age for the rest of your life, what age would you pick and why? So when you're ready, you'll hit reply and you go ahead and answer all those questions. Make sure you really elaborate, show off that knowledge and comprehension. That's going to be helpful. Okay, great. Thank you for posting that Tropical Geek, and it's nice to see your name. Yeah, anywhere that sells greeting cards, it can be online or in person. Totally fine either way. And if you want to take a picture of any of the cards you look at, you are totally welcome to include those in your post. Greeting cards are often quite funny, so feel free to add those if you would like. You also have one other discussion going on for this week, and that is discussion number 12. So if we click on that here, again, same thing, make sure you watch my video and then answer all of the questions. And this one has to do with personality. So for this one, you're going to describe what has made you the person that you are today. In other words, what are some of the things that have shaped your personality? What are those key contributors? I want you to share a minimum of 2 factors that you feel have heavily contributed to your personality and how they have contributed. So maybe that is genetics, or maybe it's your family, or an experience that happened to you. It could be birth order, it could be a traumatic event or a positive event, it could be a partner or kids, it could be anything. But what are 2 things that have heavily contributed to your personality and how? Make sure you explain a little bit about that. In the spirit of the trait approach, I want you to describe yourself in 5 words. And then I also want you to ask 2 different people in your life who know you fairly decently to also describe you in 5 words. So pick people who know you in different roles, like a family member, a partner, a coworker, it could be a friend, anyone. But what are the words that they used? Are they the same as yours? Kind of react and think about that. Promise not to be offended by what they choose. If you ask them, you have to be willing to accept whatever they said. And then I also want you to take a personality quiz. I've given you a couple of different websites. Out of Service and Personality Quiz are both kind of more fun and informal. These second 2 are much more formal and are better tests. So you could take more than one if you would like, but at least one test. And then I want you to talk about which one you took. What is your reaction? What was the feel of the test? Do you feel like the results were valid, reliable, interesting, completely off? I want you to kind of reflect on that a little bit. And when you're ready again, you'll hit reply. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate. That is worth 2 points. So you want to make sure you're always replying to a peer in order to get the points for that part of the discussion. The other thing that you do have this week is exam number 3. So we are in an even week, week 6, so you have an exam. Remember that the exams are all taken on the ebook site. So if you click on this link, it will remind you to go to the ebook site right here. Here's the link to that, which you probably have bookmarked at this point. You're going to want to prepare. As always, make sure you study for the exam. Here is the study guide if you click on that. And anything on the study guide will be on the test. So know all these terms from chapter 9, 10, 11, and 12. If it's on here, make sure you're familiar and you know it. If it's not on here, you can let it go and you don't have to study it. But definitely make sure you're familiar with all of these. Not a bad idea, as I've mentioned a few times, to type or write all these terms out. Have it in front of you, then you're not trying to search for things during the exam, which takes up valuable time and it might cause you some anxiety if you don't find things quickly. So I would definitely recommend that. A couple of other suggestions, as usual, and I've definitely put these out there in the world before. Try not to wait till Sunday night. It's going to be really windy over the next couple of days. Typically, that means power outages and internet outages. Make sure you're being aware of that and mindful of that as you're figuring out when to take the test. Also, make sure you study and prepare, that you're ready and organized, have a quiet place with good internet before you begin. And remember that you only have one attempt. So once you start, you are in it. You have 75 minutes. I will never trick you. If you've studied and prepared, you will do great. Many of you have done so well on the first couple of exams. So this should be the same. Just make sure that you are prepared and ready to go, and you should be in good shape. I will post the recording of this in a little bit after we're done, and I'll give you the optional Twitch extra credit question as well in a couple of minutes. But are there any questions at all about the exam, about the discussions? As I mentioned, I might change our live stream next week. Since it's Thanksgiving break, I will be home with my kids, so it might be a little bit difficult to do a live stream with you. So stay tuned for that. I might record a video or do it at a different time, and I will make sure to announce that as we get a little bit closer. I also, of course, will give you that extra credit here, so let me put that in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat as well, and I would be happy to answer them. But your extra credit, oh, I have a quick reminder for you too, before I post the extra credit. Remember that, your subscription is only good for 30 days since most of you did that for free, which is perfect. I don't want you paying for this. So if your subscription has expired, which is a lot of you, there are only about 8 of you at this point who are still subscribed. So if you could go back and check this week, I would really appreciate it. Make sure you do that at some point. You can go back and renew it for another 30 days. We only have 3 weeks left of the semester, so if you renew it one last time, you should be all good to go. Again, please don't ever pay for this, but if you do have the opportunity to go do that, it saves me so much time, and I greatly appreciate all of you who have done that. But the extra credit, let me put this in the chat. It is, what are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development, and describe an element of each stage. Okay, so that is your extra credit question. What are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development, and describe one of the main elements of each stage? There's kind of one hallmark thing going on in each one of them. And when you're ready to answer that, since we are in week number 6, you will go to optional Twitch extra credit number 6 right here and click on that link. And remember, if you're watching this later, if you are subscribed, you can still do this to get that extra credit. So not a lot of you are doing this. It's definitely going to add up those 2 points. So make sure that you're taking advantage. And if you aren't subscribed, go back and do that again so that you can get those points. But when you're ready, click Start Assignment up at the top. And then here is where you can type your response in the box. And whenever you're done, you will hit submit and get the little confetti burst. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Just confetti. Oh, trophies. Those are my fantasy football trophies from when I win. I hope. I'm in like 3rd place out of 12, so it's possible. You never know. You can see I had up here, I was working on football trades earlier today. But I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you take advantage of this opportunity. Don't forget, this week, again, we have a lot of stuff going on. If you have not finished week number 5, make sure that you get going on those materials from last week, along with everything we talked about today from this week. And as I mentioned, I will post the recording of this in a little while. Once it is uploaded and downloaded, I will post it right here. And you can always double check right here that you've done everything on the little wrap-up checklist. But I think that is everything that I had for you, about 15-20 minutes, nice and short and sweet. If you have any questions for me, I will, of course, hang out for a little bit. I'm more than happy to answer them. You can put them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, you're welcome to go. Again, please take a moment to double check that status if your subscription has expired. Get going on week 5 and 6, and remember that everything is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. And again, be mindful of the weather. If you live here locally, I live in Simi. The weather is supposed to be very windy the next 2 days. So just keep that in mind when you are deciding when to take your test and so on. So just in case, sometimes they shut off the power when it's super windy. So you never know. You never know. All right. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I'm going to minimize my video here so I'm not staring at myself, but I will hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions for me. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. And I will hope to see you all next week if we do a live stream. If not, it will be the week after that for our final week of the semester. It's going so quickly. So hang in there. Have a great week, and I will hope to see you soon. And again, I will hang out for a little bit. If you do have any questions, I am still here. Yes, Merry Happy Turkey Day. I like that, right? Happy Thanksmas. For sure.